to you all. First of all, our Vice Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, for making your time to join us for this formal inauguration of this Indo-Swiss joint research project, which we will be starting from the Pondicherry University along with the Swiss University, that is University of Basel, Switzerland, from where Professor Ansgar Kamen is working in the Department of Environmental Sciences there. And also I kind of welcome others, our registrar and our director of studies, our Dean International and Dean School of Life Sciences, our professor and head Department of Ecology.
Ramamurthy, young looking fellow, yeah. Not young otherwise.
Okay. And Professor Nirmala Kumari from Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, and Ms. Anupa, student, PhD student working at University of Basel, Switzerland, and my colleague Subhankar Chatterjee. Thank you all again, and I would formally say this project we will be having today in the afternoon, particularly discussion on scientific aspects in detail. So feel free if you also, some of you wish to join, of course. But otherwise, this is very kind of important even for the university as well, in the sense the Indo-Swiss Joint Research Project, where I was working for before joining the university for quite a long time with the Swiss collaboration for almost 15 years, where we had different collaborative projects, interdisciplinary. I look forward, of course, with all your support, to extend this collaboration more with also other departments, perhaps in a longer run to have a more long-term collaboration. Of course, our Dean International would also perhaps talk on that specifically, and just I would now say welcome you all, and then leave it for your sir, maybe a couple of words from you.
Thank you, Professor Masi. I deem it a great honor to welcome Professor Kamen and his student, Miss Anupa Matthews from Trivandrum, otherwise, but now in Switzerland. And all other colleagues, we have Professor Tharani, who is Director of Studies, you all know, which is like Pro-Vice Chancellor. Here we call Director of Studies. We have a registrar here, who's a registrar but a Professor of Economics in his own right, Professor Amresh Samantraya. Then I have Dean International Relations, Professor Raju, Subramanian Raju, well-known person in the subject of South Asian studies and maritime studies. He's authored about 24 books which are very widely acclaimed all over, particularly in Indian Council of World Affairs. It's a think tank of Ministry of External Affairs, where he does a very good collaborative work, and with their support also he has authored some good books. Then we have our Dean of the Life Sciences, Professor Shetty, Pratap Shetty. He's from Food Sciences, and he's also a very celebrated scientist, one of those who has handled very major projects. And in the area of food sciences, if you scan through the important committees of our country, you will find his name in most of those. And any important event related to food sciences, you will notice that he will always be there. And well, he's in for a better stellar role in the times to come, hopefully. But he's right now Dean of Life Sciences, and a role which is being played very effectively by him. Then we have a young faculty member who has joined very recently, a couple of months back, I'll say. Is Dr. Subhankar Chatterjee. He came from another central university, which is called Himachal Central University. If you again look at the map, this place is one of the coolest places in our country. Nearby you get a lot of snow also, and a very cold place. has an airport nearby, and when you go there, you will be partly reminded of Switzerland. Same kind of landscape and everything. So I had the pleasure of visiting that university twice. I had even delivered one talk, scientific talk there. That's where I got in touch with him, and then after I interacted, I found he's more suitable for our university rather than the one he's in. So that's how he's now with us. He's done a lot of good work in the same area. He's, as I said, a Humboldt Fellow who completed his tenure very successfully, and then he's been to other countries where he did a lot of good scientific work. On the other side, Mati, of course, is one of you. So you know him much too well. I will not say anything on that. He's joined us now as a faculty. In fact, when I went to Switzerland to attend a school psychologist conference, international conference, where I gave a talk on the importance of subject psychology for school students, which till now is not being taught at schools. They thought psychology is a subject which is needed only at the higher level. And then we deliberated. I said, no, in fact, this is a subject which should be started from 6th onward. So far it has been neglected. Now they have brought it to school level. They have rightly decided, because I suppose with the unfortunate events of pandemic that we had, and the stress of examination which is really telling on every student, psychology, in my opinion, will play a very important role. And this is what in Basel everybody deliberated. And US had this in schools, but other countries, they also thought that it will be in the fitness of things if this subject is brought to some of the senior classes. So that is how it came in, and in our Indian schools also, it is going to come in a big way. So I will now have the occasion to present some mementos to our friends who have travelled all the way, and to express our gratitude for their effort. Meanwhile, if Professor Anska wants to say anything, you're welcome, please.
So dear Honorable Vice Chancellor and friends and colleagues here in the room, dear Thomas, all the way in Switzerland, it's a pleasure to be here this morning. First of all, I'd like to thank the Vice Chancellor very much for this extremely warm and friendly welcome here at Pondicherry University. And it was mentioned by Thomas, this project has seen a little bit of a delay due to the pandemic, and I'm extremely grateful that we can finally be here today and officially now start with the project work. Now, what do we like to do in this project? I think the project is interesting because it looks at very different facets of science. The overall goal, of course, is to better understand cropping systems here in India, but I think this understanding could also help us to improve cropping systems in Switzerland and in Europe. And in order to do this, we will combine different disciplines, which I think is a very important asset of this project. So we will look at very basic processes, so we'll do very basic science, we will look at biochemistry and ecology and use very advanced tools like compound-specific stable isotope work to try to understand how do these important crops that we try to understand, how do they interact and how can we manipulate their interaction to improve yields. And in doing that, the overall goal is, of course, to improve the livelihood and the nutrition of people here in India, but ultimately also in Switzerland, of course. So I think there are some very interesting scientific questions that have direct implications for science that are interesting per se, but they also have very important implications for society. And I think that's rare in a research project that we address both things, and this is where I think this project is particularly interesting. But I would also like to say that this project goes beyond science, and what I'm very excited about is the exchange between our partners here in India and Switzerland. I'm a very strong believer in international relations and international collaborations, and we're living in times, unfortunately, where these relations are under pressure. And I think it's extremely important that we exchange ideas, discuss different views, to understand each other and to respect each other's interests. And I think this project, maybe at a very small scale, can help to do that. But one thing that we will discuss today, later in the afternoon, when we talk about the actual implementation of the project, is how to facilitate students' exchanges. And I myself, when I was a student, was on a few exchanges. I was able to work in China, I was able to work in the United States, and I moved around quite a lot, and I think it helped me to broaden my mind. And yesterday evening we talked a lot about the traveling, and the Vice Chancellor expressed his interest in travel. And I think these international exchanges are extremely important for a better world, for understanding each other, and for developing a sustainable and peaceful world. So I think our project will not only contribute to science, but it will help at a small scale, but through our student exchanges and through our mutual visits here in India and also in Switzerland, help to facilitate this international understanding and also hopefully facilitate a more ongoing and long-lasting collaboration between the University of Pondicherry and the University of Basel. So there are very many different aspects of this project, and I'm very excited that we can be here in Pondicherry today and officially launch the start of the project. And I very much look forward to the next couple of years, and I'm convinced that we will achieve very interesting results, both in science but also for society. And I'd like to thank Pondicherry University that we can have this project here at this location. I'm sure we in Basel will benefit a lot from this collaboration.
The Honorable Vice Chancellor said, looking forward, further to have collaboration with other departments, sciences. But also, I look at since I am from social sciences, I have some kind of looking at my interest. So further from physical and chemical sciences, you also can think about some of the areas in management studies or humanities and social sciences where we can think about the convergence of interests between the two organizations to look for having more interaction, more collaboration in the near future. Thank you.
See, as is rightly said, the world has become a global village. And if somebody thinks that I'm going to have all aspects of a subject covered, it's not possible unless you collaborate and discuss and take the help of one another. And that's how the science will grow, and that is how science will be able to work for the betterment of humanity as such. So this should be the way we should look at it. Meanwhile, I see there are some other friends online. I can see one of my colleagues, Dr. Govardhan Sahu, who is also a newcomer. He is joined in here online, and one Tejaswini Singh is also online here with us. Okay, I was seeing you there also. So they are all welcome here.
Our system was in.
Okay, so they are all welcome here. Govardhan Sahu is one of our new colleagues who has joined us. So I was saying that, if I give you 1 rupee and you give me 1 rupee, it will only remain 2 rupees. But you give me one idea and I give you one idea, they will multiply into many ideas, and you never know where this science will take us ultimately. And the way things are changing, I think we need to work together. That's the hallmark of good research these days. So in that connection, this is what Professor Anska has very clearly spelled out. So I am sure it is going to be fructifying into something useful for everyone.
See, yesterday I discussed with Professor Anska, and I understand that this project is on the interaction between fungi and then the other, how to improve the breeding, all those things. So this is very important project at present context, because in India we are going towards, the agriculture is going towards, especially this area, the organic farming is very famous now. Everyone is coming out of this chemicals related, even fertilizers or even pesticides, all those things. So in this scenario, if this project is very important, because how the ecology is very important to improve the yield, all those things. So in this scenario, it's very important. I am also very interested to keen on what are the scientific output on this, preferably if any patents or directly to the contribution to this. I am very interested to see Professor Nirmala is here directly. Her contribution is also very important here. So in that aspect, I am very interested to see the output. So this I thank our collaborator for having come here and then contributed and showing interest also. I would like to see more and more output in this project. Thank you.
So finally, I am thankful to everyone who has spared time to join us here. I am sure, as I said, the project will take off in a very proper way and will yield the not only expected result, much more than that, because I have a very firm belief that our researchers here in the country, they put in their best once they get involved into some project. And I'm sure you will find them in the same direction. So with this, all good wishes, and finally thanking Professor Bola for sparing his time from Basel. We can get some good cold waves when you are joining, pleasant waves, and the weather here also becomes very pleasant. It is pleasant today, not that hot. So that's what it is, and we wish everybody all the very best. And I am particularly grateful to everyone who spared their time to be here with us. Let's hope we continue on similar lines in future. Thank you very much.